Ambassador by the Governor General for Family, Youth and Development in March 2014. Everyone, Mrs. Polly Maduri.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and let me welcome you to this forum. I see that with the cost of education, and we all need to finish, that you will find something worthy of your choice, so you can apply and apply and apply. So I will be sharing with you the slides on scholarships first before I go into acing the interview. So may I have the slides on scholarships?
All right, just give me a second, please.
Okay, so I get to understand that we are all here from STEM. So that is science, technology, and education / engineering and mathematics. Is my screen up? No? Okay, so we'll be looking at some scholarships under STEM that you can apply for as soon as possible. So first of all, we have the Ministry of Education and Youth, which is TVET. This is open to engineering and computing students. Unfortunately, today is the closing date for this scholarship. So you all, if you're interested, they're giving us 100 scholarship to UTech for these 2 schools. So I'll empower you now to go and apply for them. The thing about it, it might need some attachment, but once you have your application in, you can then go back and upload your application form, or should I say the attachments. For this scholarship in particular, it pays full tuition, boarding if required or if needed, and books and maintenance to a value of $50,000 per academic year. So this is for computing and engineering students. Then we go to the Ministry of Education and Youth, UTech Open. This, however, pays full tuition and $15,000 for books, and it is open to all students. This also closes today, along with the emancipation. What emancipation has over the UTech Open is that it gives you a maintenance fee of $50,000 additionally. So ladies and gentlemen, help is here. Go on the Ministry of Education website now to apply for these under Faculty of Engineering and Computing. But as I said, UTech Open and Emancipation is open to everybody, all years, all schools, all programs. Then we'll now come down to NCB Foundation. NCB Foundation, however, is for the IT hits. So the IT students, this one is specifically for you. When we have the Chinese Embassy, it is open to all persons under STEM from 1st year to 4th year under STEM. This one is done on the UTech application form. The NCB Foundation, you go on the NCB Foundation's website. SCIT students, please capitalize on it. You're only competing amongst yourself for that one. And it's many students that they actually give. We also have the Chinese Embassy females only in IT. They want to promote females in IT, so we have that one for IT students. So there are 2 separate scholarships, one for females only in IT and one for everybody in STEM. Of course, we have the betting, gaming, and lottery. This is open to everybody, 17 to 25 or thereabout. Betting, gaming, and lottery is on their website. Bernie and Ramona Benson, however, it is for 1st year only, and it is on the university's website application form that you will do this. Gregory Vassal Memorial is for computing students only, from 2nd to 4th year students. We have, of course, the Grace Kennedy Foundation Scholarship. We have the Bruce Records, which is for KC students only. We have the Carlton Alexander for JC students only, for any program. So these are for any programs, any year, once you're coming from KC or JC. We have the Douglas O'Rain Scholarship also for persons in STEM. So that is also out there for you. And of course, Grace Kennedy Foundation also offers scholarships right across the board. Unfortunately, the dentistry students are not in that one, because unfortunately your cost again, persons are very wary of the cost, but all the other programs can apply for the Grace Kennedy Foundation. And under Grace, this closes the 15th of July. So you only have a couple more days to go, or should I say exactly a week. Next Friday, it closes. We have the Jamaica Energy Partners, and of course, this is also for engineering and computing students. NHT, we have NHT for computing students. Lodge St. John for engineering students. And of course, our Dear Students Union have a lot of scholarships too that are available. And we have the VP Finance, all representatives under the Students Union also have a scholarship attached to them. So it could be SCIT, engineering, COHS, FOSS, whatever. You have a scholarship under your rep. And we have the VP Student Services, the Executive Secretary of the Students Union, the President of the Students Union, and Alfred Sangster is paid for under the Students Union. Alfred Sangster is our first president of the institution, but he was the one who instituted the Students Union. So hence the Students Union find funding for this scholarship. We have the VPAA clubs and societies and the VP Public Relations scholarships. Of course, too, we have the UTech Foundation Label 10. This is given under the foundation of UTech, and it's given to second year students right across the faculties, programs. And for costs, it is given, although you can apply in second year, we have one specifically for you when you reach third year in costs. That is pharmacy students. They have one that we call Mableton for cost. Right, the Mableton, UTech Foundation, Mableton is for cost, but the UTech Foundation itself has scholarship for second year right across the board. And they have also one that named Alistair Thompson, and that is for third year engineering students. Of course, we have the CAC 2000 Foundation, Annabella Marston, and this scholarship is given to persons in engineering doing mechanical or electrical, and you must be from Montego Bay. We have Caribbean Cement, we have Continental Baking, Engine 95. Engine 95 is the class of 1995, is now giving back to the students here at UTech. Last year was their first round, and they gave 3 students. This year they said that they're increasing it in terms of the numbers of students. And then we have the Indies Pharma Jamaica Limited. It is for costs and dentistry students only. And you have the Kingston School of Nursing, and of course this is for nursing students. So they are the batch 25, so they are very, very old people, and they are giving back to the nursing section. And then the Lord St. John is for engineering students, and the New Fortress Energy. New Fortress Energy is giving 20 students the tune of 2,500 US each. And I should hasten to say that, ladies and gentlemen, most of these scholarships continue for the duration of your program once you maintain your 3.0 GPA. So get on board. The scholarship listing is online. The application form is also online. And the earlier scholarship that I mentioned, you will go to the representative to the respective company's website for you to apply for these scholarships. So I thank you for listening to what scholarships are available to you, so you can tap in as best as possible to help you to achieve this dream of attaining this degree of your choice or of your parents' choice. I don't want to get into that debate, but to attain this degree so you can further your life and make you and your family more productive in terms of attaining more or able to earn more, because you have a stepping stone to a first degree. So I thank you for this first component, and then we'll be moving on to the second component of acing your scholarship interview. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, after you have applied, we will be meeting you to have a conversation with you. And I use the word conversation and not necessarily interview, because I don't want you to feel intimidated. So we will have a conversation with you in order to learn a little bit more about who you are, to aid us in our decision making. So can you please share the screen with acing your scholarship interview? I hope you're all hearing.
All right, so Mrs. Maduri, the screen will be shared shortly. UTech's Wi-Fi is just
Yes, I know. And that's one of the challenges that we have currently, even in our scholarship interviews. But most times the panels are very patient in waiting on the students to get reconnected so they can have the best foot forward in acing their scholarship. So I will go ahead while the screen is shared. So we look at the overview. So scholarships require personal interview. So the interview normally lasts 15 to 20 minutes and involve a small group of people. Most times we have representatives from the different institutions or companies that are offering the scholarship. If not, you will have familiar faces, so the representative will be from your program. So most of your PB or a lecturer, they're about, so you can feel comfortable while delivering. And most times, if not all the times, the panel is very pleasant, really pleasant and welcoming. And of course, to assess your best way, we'll put you at ease and comfort. So we just don't grab at you, we try to have you light up, and because we want the best out of you and we want you to do well. Because remember, the companies are here to give away their money. So we want you to do well in taking their money. So to access your best way, we'll put you at ease, of course. And remember that we want you to succeed. So we will not try to intimidate you any at all. And of course, we will not ask you any question that you do not know. It's just that sometimes when you're in a spot, things go through your head quickly. But that's how UTech teaches you to think on your feet. So when you're preparing for your interview, what you need to do is to research the organization and see what they do. And sometimes, especially your alignment of your vision, and that's some of them don't want you to work with them, but some of them won't mind you working with them. So you see how best it is aligned. And of course, with technology, you can always Google the company. So for example, if you are doing New Fortress, I expect you to go on their website, research what they're doing, what is the latest that they're up to, all of that. So you can actually do a wow interview. Because of course, most times we ask you, what do you know about the company? I'm not expecting you to SWOT it, but there are just certain things that you will put forward to say that you know this, that, and whatever of the company. So prepare your journey for the interview well in advance. Okay, last year we had it online. This year, I'm not sure how we will continue, whether online or face to face, depending on the climate at the time of interviews. So if you are having it face to face, you need to look ahead and think of the journey so you arrive on time or in time, because traffic is on the road, accidents can happen, all of that. So be mindful of that if we're having it face to face. If we're having it online, I know you have no control over GPS or the internet, but we will try to facilitate, because sometimes we have to go back via phone and put you on speaker to conduct the interview. So we have no control over that. But please, as best as possible, to see if we can have reliable internet, and should I say reliable light, but no control, as I said. We have seen in the past where students are at a school, at the gate of a school, trying to get their Wi-Fi to utilize, because they're home and that sort of. So, and assign somewhere that you can do this interview without the noise. Sometimes we understand the cock will crow, a vehicle will pass. You can't control those elements. So don't feel intimidated. I remember a girl, the cock crow in her interview, and she almost melted down. And we have to, she have no control over the cock, what time the cock will crow. But but go into an era as best as possible to eradicate these sounds as best as possible. Nothing is bulletproof, so I use the word best as possible. And of course, think of your interview as a conversation. So we'll be conversing with you and not intimidating you, as I said earlier. So your interview is an opportunity to discuss your goals, your plans, your concerns. Because of course we'll ask you, why nursing? Why dentistry, or why computing? You're supposed to be able to tell us why you chose this route for your career. And what do you intend to do in the future with this degree after receiving this degree? I mean, what mountains are you going to be digging down while you have this knowledge, that sort of thing. So it's not about, so much what is happening in the world, but mostly you. Of course, all of us are anxious while we're doing, or I should say nervous while doing an interview. Please note, it is not, universal that, you're going to not be nervous. Regardless of how prepared you are, you might have a slight, but it doesn't have to come across in the interview. Because sometimes, the nerve get the better half. If we're face to face, we'll offer you a drink of water. We don't use it against you, because all of us have been there and we understand that, nervousness is a part of the groundwork. And sometimes this is your first interview in your entire life, so you don't know what to expect. And we understand. And of course, we give you the courtesies accordingly. We do not use it any at all against you, but what we use is the conversations with you. So when you're coming to the interview, we ask that you be prepared to discuss your background, your academic achievements, but some of us are achieving from we are little thoughts, you know, so you're going to come and spread the good news of all your achievements, your future plans after you get this engineering degree, what roads you're going to build, what highway you're not going to construct, that sort of thing. Your hobbies and interests, of course, your financial profile and your needs. Under this financial profile and needs, of course, we'll be looking at how you're financing your education, how they can help you to move closer in having a zero balance at UTech, and your personal value structure as best as possible. So you prepare accordingly, and of course, you will anticipate these questions. But you know, they always ask about your strengths. Some person might ask you about your weakness, because we don't normally love to dwell on your weakness, but you know, some might ask, and what are your career goals? What do you do? Why do you deserve this scholarship? Remember, it is a competitive process. So why should we give you this scholarship? For example, New Fortress will be giving us 20 scholarships. So coming to this interview, we might be having like 25 students to be interviewed to choose the 20. So why should you be one of the 20 scholars after the interview is finished? So you should be able to come. I always say, everybody's selling sweetie. What makes your sweetie different? And it's not taste and buy, it's how you package your sweetie. Because regardless of how bitter the sweetie is, your packaging, persons will purchase it. All right, so where do you see yourself in another 5 years or 10 years, depending? You should be able to answer that. And tell us about your personal achievements. Some of you know that you did excellent. You did excellent in your CXCs. You did excellent in your CXC or CAPE, or you know, you did a milestone in your community of helping them to achieve certain things. Of you know, so think about it coming to the interview, because sometimes we take these things for granted as best as possible, or we just say, oh, nothing to remember that. But I mean, write them down so you can remember them. And of course, this is a couple on tell us about a mistake you make. We do not ask for confession, but I mean, so the mistake could be simple. You under prepare for an interview, for an exam, because you thought you had enough knowledge, and when you went, you did not get the A+ that you wanted, but you got a B because you were underprepared because of maybe juggling 2 other modules, because of you did not have the strength in those modules, and then you did not look at that one in depth. So I mean, we don't want a confession to say that you did go and thief out your mother sugar and milk and make sticky whatever. That's not what this mistake is about. Okay. And of course, making a good impression, your grooming. Personal grooming is important. I know young men now are not necessarily cutting hair, but we ask for it to be groomed. We don't prejudice against you because we understand. So, but we ask for it to be groomed. So either it's cornrow or comb and pat down, whatever it is, so it doesn't look and of course, ladies, even with your nails, ensure that you do not have any bright colors. Then also sometimes we use our hands to gesticulate, and in gesticulating, persons just seeing those long nails and maybe get distracted. So be careful of how you put yourself together. And of course, select your interview outfit. I'm not asking for a 3-piece outfit or the dress that you're going to wear to church for your Sunday best, but a nice, clean, well-fitted top. If it is online, the bottom doesn't matter, but the top. I mean, a nice shirt or blouse, that sort of thing. But if you're coming face to face, of course, we then expect you to have a nice bottom and top. Not necessarily jacket suits in terms of male or female, but something that is presentable enough, not a t-shirt and that sort of thing. And you just draw it on with your jeans. I know a certain faculty, that's their norm, which those who are interviewing those persons for that faculty understand very well because they can relate to the dress code of that faculty. So that is okay, but for the rest of the institution, there are certain dress code that is expected for you to look sharp and nice, as we will call it, that you're looking very sharp. So your logistics, if you're coming face to face, know exactly where you are going before. I know most of you have never been on the campus, so you have no clue as to the buildings. But for interviews, we normally send you an email with the room and the time, your individual time. So in that case where you might get lost, we ask for you again to come ahead of time so you can find your room and settle down and not just, all over the place, confused. And then by the time you reach the interview, you're so weary and all of that, and we won't get the best out of you as we would want. And again, think about the traffic flow. If you're coming from Timbuktu and the traffic on Mandela or traffic in Halfway Tree, we cannot predict it because we don't know what will happen. So we ask for you to give yourself the ample time to get to your destination in time and on time. It is advisable to be here at least 10 to 15 minutes prior to. At least you can go to the bathroom and titivate up, get that cool face again and, that smile going again, because of course the traffic is not behind you. And, you practice your smile again to come inside to greet us. So, of course, when you come in to see us, we ask that, you concentrate on what we're asking. You put aside all what is happening outside as best as possible. And of course, you look great. You have arrived enough time. So of course, as I said, the wind might have blown your hair out of portion. You can get back that, all of those things into perspective. So coming into us as the interview, you will then be very relaxed. So at first we get the time to know you, because most times the first question we ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself. So in this case, we're getting to know you. We're going to say, I'm a third-year nursing student from Savannah Mar, and I went to that sort of thing. So we're getting to know you. And then your sibling, you say, I have 3 brothers, 2 sisters, dada, or whatever the case may be. So normally the first part is getting to know you. So with that, because as I said, it's a conversation, so we can actually now relate with you. And of course, show that, that you're enthusiastic. Because sometimes you say, my name is Mary Brown. No, Mary Brown, we have other persons outside waiting to come in. So why should we be listening to? So we ask for you to speak up, not loud, but speak up. Show your passion in whatever you are telling us, because sometimes the adjectives might not come out, but of course we can see it in your face. We can see how it makes you feel. So show that. So of course in life we have the what if, because as I said, life happens. So what if, despite your logistical preparations, you are later arrived with a big coffee stain on your shirt? Well, you have the opportunity to exit the grace under pressure and ability to adapt, and that's gotten you thus far already. So guess what? I'm sure you might have a friend on dorm or wherever nearby, that sort of thing, that you could easily go and ask for a shirt or blouse interchange, or just simply apologize you know, that what's happening, and sometimes too, depending on how minute it is, we might not even see it. But as I said, life as is challenging. So acknowledge the problem. I had a flat tire on the way, whatever. Apologize if I provide. I'm so sorry to have delayed your scheduled meeting, and then move on. Do not dwell on it, just move on. Don't continue to focus on the initial and negative. Try to get the focus moving forward so you can shine. It's about you shining. It's not about no this thing or whatever. Your moment now to shine. So of course, we just have a conversation with us and just put that aside, because we can't do anything about that problem at the moment. But what you can do about is acing your scholarship interview. So concentrate where that is concerned. What if you can't think of a good answer to a question that has been posed? Or you can't even think of a bad answer because your mind has gone blank. Again, grace under pressure is key. Explain that you're having a mental block on that topic just now and ask if it is possible to come back to the question a bit later. And that is fine, totally fine. Or suggest that it is really interesting question that has pumped a lot of different ideas for you, and you would like to take a moment to organize your thoughts. And that also is fine. Whichever you choose is fine. It's just something, is how it comes out. Of course, there's a lot of what ifs. The key of it is to remain confident and don't let a problem shake your sense of yourself. Remain confident. Approach the interview with a sense of confidence, some humility, and enough good humor to get you past any awkward moments. I'm not expecting you to come entitled, as some students will say, in essence, without even saying it. Why you're interviewing? Why just give me the money so I can move on? I deserve it. You will not be coming to an interview with that moment. You're coming to say, okay, it is a competitive process and I'm going to put my best foot forward. And again, dress appropriately. Select conservative, semi-formal, wear slacks and a jacket or a dress shirt for men. Dresses, skirts, or pantsuits for women. Never wear jeans and t-shirts to an interview. And I know sometimes things happen because my office might send you an email calling you, can't get you. And on the day of the interview, we finally get you. It is okay to come as you are because you are just being notified. So just come as you are. Okay, don't make a big fuss of it. Just come as you are and be confident and just execute. So additionally, you should have clean and polished conservative dress, shoes, well-groomed hairstyle. This is if you're going face-to-face, ladies and gentlemen. Clean and trimmed fingernails, minimal cologne or perfume. We have to understand that sometimes persons have sinus problems, and of course it will aggravate it. No visible body piercing beyond the conservative ear piercing for women. I know sometimes you have, but you could just remove them for the sake of the interview. And of course, as soon as you exit, you can replace them. I want to say well-brushed teeth because I guess all of us now are in that habit. No gum, candy, or other objects in your mouth. Minimal jewelry and no body odor. No body odor in terms of, I'm sure you would have had your bath and that sort of thing. So you come in looking smart and fresh. Make a good first impression. When you meet the interviewers, introduce yourself, make eye contact and use a firm handshake, but not too hard. Be brief and honest with your answers. Try to sum up your thoughts quickly. Interviewers will ask follow-up questions if they want to know more. Maintain eye contact with the interviewer throughout the interview. Demonstrate interest and confidence as best as possible. Have some questions ready for the interviewer. Prepare this question in advance by researching the sponsoring organization, school, or company. Remember to smile. Don't be shy. And I know some of us are shy by nature, but of course, with this small panel, we are not there to eat you, but we want the best out of you. So smile. Show your appreciation. Thank the interviewer for his or her time and consideration afterwards. And of course, practice interviewing with a friend. The more you practice, of course, it's the more you feel comfortable with yourself, or comfortable knowing yourself as well. And sometimes even practice in front of the mirror. So you see how you answer, how you look, what your facial expression like, that sort of thing. And the don'ts. Assume that the interviewers are knowledgeable about you and your background, regardless of what you include in your application. Sometimes we come to the interview with our jargon. I'm a SCIT student. They don't know, understand the abbreviation of SCIT or FENC or whatever. Or if you're talking about the club and I'm in ACs or whatever it is, they do not understand the abbreviation. So spell it out, and then you could say call ACs or whatever the case may be. In that case, don't come now being critical of your teachers, and they will say, why do you get this C? And you're going to kill the teacher and say that the teacher never teach me, none, whatever. Be gentle and say, unfortunately, I did not have enough knowledge on this topic, and hence me getting a C in the area. So don't be ridiculing anybody for the C, just or the failure, or whatever the case may be. So just move. And of course, don't be afraid to say I do not know, or ask for clarification on a particular question. Do not use political, racial, ethnic, religious, or other sensitive statements, because remember, you do not know the panel and where they align. So do not. I know some persons are in the PNP or the JLP association, and I'm not going to tell you not to hide it, but mention it, but do not dwell on it, because as you said, you do not know where the panel sits on which side of the fence. So do not even, just mention it and move along. And of course, smoke and stretch and you chew gums, it's a no-no. So once you've gone through all these steps, you'll be confident enough to ace your interview. And of course, acing your interview, you will of course more than likely be successful in your interview. And ladies and gentlemen, please don't be disheartened. Sometimes you have back-to-back interviews before you even know if you are awarded a scholarship. Reason being, sometimes we make the decision right there and then. Sometimes it is so close. We mean close, that the panel has to defer judgment for a later date to make that decision. But guess what? While we await the decision, I will not rule you out from possible other interviews. So you will see, you find yourself coming to other interviews and not knowing whether or not you received the previous ones. And I will say, apply for all the scholarships that are applicable to you, because you will never know which one you will get. So as the saying goes, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. If you don't have an application in, you don't have a chance. So I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming in and listening. And I wish you well and all the best to you for the upcoming academic year. Thank you very much. Over to you, host.
All right, can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Mrs. Maduri, for such an excellent presentation. So now we will have Miss Dacia Little, who will be introducing our next guest speaker.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope we're well. Okay, so unfortunately, our guest speaker, Mr. Rick Darby, was not able to make it today. However, he has shared with me the tips that he wants you to note um, as you pursue your education. Okay, so the first tip that he wanted me to know for you, um, for many scholarships that you would get, they would not cover your ECD, especially if it's not a full scholarship. Um, so you have to check with the scholarship, the donor to ensure that to find out if your ECD will be covered or if it won't be covered. Also for students who go through the route of using the Students Loan Bureau, you will have to pay your ECD in semester one. However, if you decide to do the summer session, you have to pay out of pocket for that. That's because the student loan does not cover summer modules. In the case where you have a balance left over from, say, semester one or semester two from your loan, that can be transferred to the summer, but once the full loan amount is paid for the year, you have to cover that out of pocket. Also, if you are also taking a student loan, you have to note that once your status is at D or E, that's when your loan is approved and your tuition will be paid. So you have to pay keen attention to the status of your loan. And you also need to check your emails and follow up with your status. Um, you need to be mindful of your diet sheet when selecting modules, doing redos, and when you're doing zero credit modules. Um, because zero credit modules and redos and the prerequisites are some prerequisites, like for example, if you did not do CSEC physics and you have to come here and the basic physics that won't necessarily be covered by the Student Loan Bureau. So those are the tips that you wanted me to share with you as it relates to financing your education. And I thank you.
If I can add two more points.
Go ahead, Mrs.
Yes, you
Green.
may.
Okay. Also, under the Ministry of Education, they have JAMVAT, Jamaica Values and Attitude. After you have completed 200 hours, they pay 30% of your total tuition. Also, they have a grant that you can get a maximum of 29999.999. I think it's 0.1 cent less $300,000. So those you can capitalize on, and those two also close today. And I will emphasize, go and fill out your application and submit it, and then you can then go back to upload your attachments. So just get your application in while you work on the other things as best as possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for those additional tips, Mrs. Maduri. All right, so now we will have the School of Engineering representative, Ms. Kadisha Cooper, who will be introducing our next guest speaker.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me? Kishana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. All right, so time as he's at work and drilling my hair. All right, so Mr. McFarlane was going to speak to us about the importance of clubs and societies and community service to your scholarship application. So I'll go right ahead and do my best. As someone who is very involved in as sponsors or donors love to see that you are involved in your school community, that you're giving back to your school community, that you're giving back to the community that you reside in as well. It speaks very well for you. Being a part of clubs and societies as well shows that you are well-rounded and you're able to balance your schoolwork as well as other extracurricular activities. So it speaks well to your personality and your ability to focus on getting the task done, right? I would encourage everyone, I'm pretty sure all the schools and faculties here have specific clubs and societies, as well as there are some general ones, service clubs like Rotaract and FICLO. I would encourage you all to join at least one club from your school, right, to show that you're involved. For the School of Engineering, we have the Jamaica Institution of Engineers UTech chapter, the Association of Chemical Engineering Students. We also have the Institute of Structural Engineers, if I remember correctly. Yes, so those are linked to parent bodies, and you also get there's also opportunity for you to segue into the parent body once you're finished, because I know that JIE has a student chapter attached to them. So once it is that you are a registered member of UTech chapter, there's possibility for them to enroll you in the student chapter of the parent body and so on. And that speaks very well. It shows that you're involved within the field that you are coming from as well. And donors love to see that. So yeah, I guess that's it. Very straightforward. There's the banging. Very straightforward, if it is that you are not aware of what clubs and societies are available to you, you can always ask your representatives. They would be aware, or the first VP Academic Affairs, Clubs and Societies, which is Mr. Rick Darby, that falls under his portfolio. So he would have an idea as well. And also we have the Community Service Department at UTech and the Community Service Director on the union. There's so many people that you can ask to get information on how to get involved, how to give back, and it will speak very well for you. Thank you.
May I add to that as well?
Go ahead, Mrs. Maduri.
I must say that you not only join them, but be actively involved. So don't tell me that you're a member of JIE. What did you do in JIE? And then they're going to say, oh, JIE went and did a beach cleanup, where you are part of the beach cleanup. So not only have your name as sticking to say member, but be involved. And also do not limit it to the clubs and societies here, but it will tell that you are current, but look at your community. Example, your church, to say if you are involved in anything there. Even being in your class and assisting someone with physics is also an involvement. So do not only limit it to the club, but these things, of course, goes further for you because you can get written recommendations for them. So be a part, but be involved actively. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you as well for that addition. This is
To answer that question that was just asked, so the question was during the pandemic and classes were online. The answer is yes, because I was a part of Rotary Club and we had on Zoom meetings and they had face-to-face events as well. So yes. All right, so I'm just having some internet issues. Just give me a sec, please. All right, so now you'll be able to hear from the representative themselves. The first representative we will have up is the FOSS representative herself, Miss Philippia Morgan, who will be speaking on FOSS specific scholarships. Ms. Morgan, the floor is yours.
Right, thank you, Ms. Roberts. So in regards to FOSS scholarships, normally the scholarships normally ask for reference or recommendation letter. You can solicit that from your program guides or faculty management. I would have expounded on the scholarships directly for FOSS, but I mean, Ms. Murdery she did a really good presentation, so most of that information had already been covered. However, I had gone ahead with my team and prepared a listing that applies for Faculty of Science and Sports students, and I will drop that in the chat for you guys to access. I really don't have much to say since Miss Maduri had covered everything, but just saying if you need recommendation letters or you need reference letters when it comes on to academic, my apologies, when it comes on to academics, you can get it from the program director rather, or the faculty management. Additionally, if you are involved in clubs and societies and it is one of the requirements on your scholarship, you may solicit that also from the committees that you're in, that they may write. And that is why Ms. Maduri emphasizes that it's important not only to be a part of the committee or societies, but also to actively engage, since we cannot only say, oh, you're a part of the committee. It stands out when we can say, okay, this person was a part of the committee, they did this, they actively participated doing this and this and this, not only to say, oh, you are part of the committee and that's one line. Recommendation letter is not just a one-line thing. It should be something that speaks about your character and your engagement in the committee. So once again, apply for scholarships and request your recommendation letter on time so you can provide it to your scholarship donor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Morgan. Next, we will have the JCOLL representative, Ms. Sashanda Bailey. The floor is yours.
All right, so good afternoon, guys. Just to ensure that you're clearly. So, as stated by the student representative from the Faculty of Science and Sports, we really had gone ahead, guys, and prepared listings of specific scholarships for you, faculty-specific scholarships. However, what we had failed to consider is that we had invited the dynamo that is Mrs. Pauline Maduri. So what has happened is that she has covered all the scholarships from A to Z. Not to say that there aren't other scholarships that are available, because for example, whilst doing my reading in order to bring the information to you guys, we would have known that there are parish-specific scholarships and school-specific scholarships. So for example, I believe there's a Sydney Pagan scholarship for persons who are from St. Mary and so on. So you can also find those scholarships, but as it relates to faculty-specific scholarships, as it relates to tips for ensuring that you are actively involved, Mrs. Pauline Maduri has covered it all. As it relates to how to go about getting the recommendation letters and the timeliness of your requests, then you'd have found that the FOSS representative also spoke to all of that. So then now it begs the question, what more is there for me to say? there isn't much for me to say aside from just thanking you all for turning out. As always, your student representatives are open and we're ready and willing to assist you. If you feel as if there's anything that you missed from today's presentation, please feel free to leave a message with your student representative. Mr. Campbell from SCIT, while I'm here, I'm seeing that you have a question. Why would you recommend to students who are not previous, what would you recommend to students who were not previously in any UTech clubs or societies, but they were active in non-registered groups? All right, so Mr. Campbell, seeing as you're a SCIT student, what you could do is reach out to your student representative and highlight what non-registered group it is that you were involved in, and then she could advocate for you and liaise with Mrs. Maduri and see how best they can go about assisting you. However, if Mrs. Maduri is here, because she's here right now, if she could assist you as well, then that would also be great.
May I?
Yes, Miss, go ahead.
Miss
The
Host,
floor is yours.
okay. For the non-registered programs, it is fine, but guess what? It is not too late to be on board. So when you come to the interview, of course, you're going to use the COVID scenario because COVID was happening. You were not able to actively participate in anything. But now that, it has passed or somewhat passed, you are now involved in such and such a club and such a club. So now you will now be registered in some clubs, know that you are aware that you need to be. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that, Mrs. Maduri. Now I will have someone from my committee, Mr. Akinlabi Hendricks, who will go ahead and speak a little on scholarships that SCIT students can mainly apply for. Now, as stated before, Mrs. Maduri did an excellent job covering the scholarships that are offered to universities, to UTech students, right? So, Akinlabi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Kishana. These are some of the scholarships that are available for our SCIT students at the moment. So you have the Digital Special Needs Scholarship, which is for second and third year students. And they must be registered with the Special Needs Students Services Office. Secondly, you have the Digital Graduate Recruitment Program, which is for second and third year students only. You have the EDICOM Corporate Credit Union Scholarships for all years, but you must be a member's child and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher. You also have the Grace Kennedy Foundation Scholarship, which is for all years, and deadline is the 15th of July. So apply as fast as you can. And also the National Housing Trust Scholarship for third year students, and the University of Technology Union Faculty of Engineering and Computing for all years. You must have a B- average or higher to apply. So please send out your applications as fast as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Hendricks. Now we will, there was a question that was addressed to me in the chat. Just give me a second here. Okay. All right, so for the listing of clubs and societies, all right, so we have a list from the the current academic year. I believe that the clubs will have to, is Mr. Darby here? Can any rep, let me know if Mr. Darby is here or if Mr. Barrett is here. Okay, he's not here. All right, so I believe what will happen is for the upcoming academic year, the clubs will have to register again, and then that list will be issued to the student population for them to decide on a club to join. So once that list is, prepared, then I will, of course, share it with the SCIT student populace. All right. All right, so next we will have the School of Engineering representative, Miss Kadisha Cooper. The floor is yours, Kadisha. All right, I do apologize. We're just having some technical difficulties due to the internet, so just give us a sec, okay? All right, so due to some technical issues, I will ask Miss Dacia Little, who is the cost representative, to go ahead. Dacia, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be Miss Maduri touched on some of these scholarships before, but I'm going to be outlining the scholarships that are available for College of Health Science students. So we have the Carol A. Lewis Scholarship, and this is for health records and statistics students, and there is no GPA requirement for that. We have the Indis Pharma Jamaica Limited Scholarship, which is open to second and fourth year pharmacist students, and the GPA requirement is 2.9. We have the Jan Scholarship, which is open to first to fourth year students from all programs in COHS. The minimum GPA is 3.0, and the final day for application for that scholarship is September the 30th. We have the Kingston School of Nursing, alumni batch 25, and it's open to second to fourth year nursing students. We have Lions Club of St. Andrew, which is open to third year pharmacy students. The McClarty Memorial Scholarship, which is open to first to fourth year child and adolescent development students, and they must be an active member of UTech, which is the University of Technology Association of Child and Adolescent Development Students. You have the Vernon Robinson Scholarship, which is open to fourth year pharmacy students. The Linval and Minerva Taylor Scholarship, which is open to first year nursing students. The minimum GPA is 3.0, and they must be residents of Waterhouse. And the last one I have on the list is the Technology Incorporated Scholarship for child and adolescent development students, and it's open to first to fourth year, and the minimum GPA requirement is 3.25. I will make these scholarships listing available as posters that will be circulated in the various year groups, so you can get more information.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Little. All right, so I'm just going to ask that everyone to just give us a second.
Don't tell me say this like oh, I'm just a cuss, you know.
All right. So while we wait, does anyone have any other question they would like to direct to Mrs. Maduri or to any of the student representatives present? You can just raise your hand and then we'll go to you. Go ahead, Stephen.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My question is this: in the first year, not in first year, I'm actually in third year now. In first year, I realized that all the clubs met on one day at the same time, and I couldn't understand why was that. But I couldn't join multiple clubs. I was just forced into one. So I was wondering if that if that would change anytime soon.
All right. So to my knowledge, as an incoming or ongoing third year, I know that the clubs meet on a specific date between a specific time frame as well, because no UTech student has classes between that time frame. So that time frame is specifically dedicated to clubs. So what some students did that have two clubs, they explain to whomever the president of the club would be. So for example, let's say you want to do Rotary Club and chess, for example, and they both meet on a specific date, specific time. So they express their their situation to both presidents, saying, hey, I'm a part of two clubs. So this day I will come to your session, the next time I will come to the other session, but all clubs meet at the same time. And that's just how it has been at the university. I'm not sure if Mrs. Maduri would like to expound on it a bit, but yeah. Go ahead, Philippia.
Right. In addition to what you were saying, and one thing that you can use to rectify the situation, remember, you're not a club member until you actually pay the club membership fee. So if you pay the club membership fee, you're fine, in addition to attending a minimum of, I'm not remembering the minimum number of meetings that you can attend in order to be a member, in addition to paying the membership fee. So once you pay the membership fee and attend a certain number of meetings, then you're fine. So you can alternate the meetings, but just ensure that you pay your club membership fee one and also attend the minimum number of meetings for each.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. You can go ahead, Dacia.
Sorry about that. All right. So in addition to that, for some of the clubs, some of the clubs are not held. They will have their main meeting on Thursday during club time, but they will also have different meetings throughout the week. I can give an example of that, which is UCCF, University and Colleges Christian Fellowship. They would have meetings like every day, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day, but the main club meeting will be on like a Thursday. So if you attend one of the other meetings, that will be okay as well, and that will count as you attending the club. Also, there are some clubs that, even though they may say you have to attend three consecutive meetings to become a member, some may excuse it if you are active in club activities. So for example, even though they may have their club meetings on a Thursday, if you are the type of person that will go to their beach cleanup on the weekend or when they're going to a site visit, if you are active in all those other areas, they will actually be able to make the decision from there to say, okay, you are active in our club, so you can become a member. So those are the two things. Some clubs, they have meetings spread out throughout all the week, and not just on one day. And there are some clubs that will use their discretion um, to actually include in the club if you are active. And also for some clubs, like for College of Health Sciences clubs, once you are a member of the program, for example, pharmacy is University of Technology Association of Pharmacy Students. So once you are accepted as a pharmacy student, you are automatically a member of the club. It's just that you have to be active to show that you are an active member. But for those programs in cost, you automatically become a member.
Thank you very much for that information, Ms. Little. Is Ms. Cooper ready?
Let's hope so. All right, sorry about that, everyone. On site, so using service at the moment. All right, so I have a few videos. I had one originally, but it's not loading. I have a few videos that were done by some School of Engineering students to give some tips when it comes on to scholarship applications. So can I get
Philippia, go ahead and give Khadisha co-host, please.
Sorry, Ms. Roberts, go again.
Can you give Khadisha co-host, please?
All right, no problem. All right, there you go.
Thank you. Are you guys able to hear?
I wasn't hearing you.
Weren't hearing the video. Oh Lord. Um,
Kadisha, I'm not hearing. Might it be an issue that you share the video without sharing audio also?
turn the audio.
Right,
Let
so
me
start again.
try it again. Um,
Hi guys, I'm Vernon, third year and fortunate to be an NCB 2021 Paris Scholar. Now, what's my advice to students who hope to get scholarships? Apply. Might sound simple, however, a lot of times we look at scholarships and say requirements don't match us and we aren't fit for the criteria.
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, we are. At least I'm able to.
Okay, great. Well, it seems like we're getting a fight, guys. So the videos will be made available so you guys can hear the tips that were given. But I posted in the chat the link to the engine specific scholarships or student services did a nice little thing for you guys to make it easy to know which year what scholarships apply to and so on. So please make use of it. And as I said, I'll try to share the videos as the week, well, as we go into next week, so that you have them as it's a motivation. As the students just like you, you know, who were nothing
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have come to the end of our program. So this ends the short program that we would have curated with you guys, especially in mind. What I'd like to say though, closing remarks, real quick. The very fact that you guys took the time to be here today indicates that you are interested in finding innovative ways to finance your education. Your students' representatives, along with the university scholarship officer, are dedicated to helping you find those ways. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Additionally, please make use of the information that will be circulated or has already been circulated. We're really and truly at this time in the middle of the scholarship application season. So ensure that you're noting the deadlines of your scholarships because we don't want these deadlines to pass you. So note your deadlines, check up on the eligibility requirements, get your recommendation letters lined up and ready. And as the NCB scholar whose name I missed from Ms. Cooper's presentation because of internet difficulties said, really and truly, just apply. We are all stars. You're all stars. Everyone here today is a star. So the best and the easiest thing to do is to apply for those scholarships. We wish you the very best and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for coming.